With the emerging technology of cellular agriculture, the Educated Choices program founded our initiative, What is Cultivated Meat? This is our interdisciplinary knowledge base created in part by advisors like Carolina Blugermann, who is joining us for this interview today. So thank you, Carolina, and welcome to today's interview. So tell me a little bit about your background, what you do, what got you into this emergent field of cultivated meat.
I studied biology in a master's degree, and then I did a PhD. I got involved a little bit more in farm animals, like bovine embryos and equine embryos. A partner of mine was interested in developing a company here in Argentina. There was no research being done in culture meat in Argentina and in the region in general. It's a huge opportunity, and because of my knowledge on animal stem cells, I was like a perfect fit for us to start working on that.
What most fascinating thing that you can tell us about in regard to cultivated meat? What attracted you to it the most?
I'm always thinking about its application on like regenerative medicine or like human health field. Something that I've learned during my years, a completely new application that was producing food. It was for the first time just something that said, okay, now we have all this new technology that is allowing us to rethink the way we produce food. Now we have this technology. Having this new application, it means that you have to solve things in a different way. And it's very, very interesting.
What are some of those challenges that you think that cultivated meat still has to overcome in order to become a viable food choice for everyone in the future?
A difference between this type of technology and some other type of technology is that the work that you are doing, that the education on the population is being doing at the same time as the technology is being developed.
So in your opinion, what are the major benefits of cultivated meat on the environment, on our health, and even, of course, on animals and ethics, right?
It depends on the region. You're analyzing what benefits the application of culture meat can bring. Of course, environmental and animal welfare, it's something that transcends the region. But I think for some countries, being able to produce their own protein and not having to export, it's solving like a national economy problem. So it also brings the possibility of decentralizing animal protein production.
Right.
And I think that's something that is very interesting.
So in a country like Argentina, where meat is part of the culture, right? Las parrilladas,
Yes.
The barbecues. How do you think people are going to see cultivated meat?
Main reaction, it's still a little bit, as I mentioned before, I think in Argentina and in the region in general, we are a little bit behind in the technology development and in the education regarding what is actually culture meat, why is it coming, and what market it's targeting. It's something for the vegetarians, it's something for everybody, it's something that is going to tackle tradition. So I think that in that sense, the most important thing is be transparent about what is culture meat actually. Why is it, does it make sense to do it? And I cannot emphasize enough that it's an additive solution than
a replacement.
Yeah, it's not a replacement, and I think it's a more friendly way, and it won't be that threatening for a country like ours. Of course, like I advocate for this technology, but I am a meat consumer as well. It doesn't mean that you have to be
one or the other.
Yeah, one or the other. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's, I think, the way our program approaches education is to put information in the hands of people and allow them to choose, to make choices depending on their values, their beliefs, their culture, their food systems, etc. Because one solution is not usually applicable for all, right? You mentioned that Argentina is a little bit behind. Obviously, there's not so much investment probably in this technology yet. But because of all the news that Singapore was the first one starting to sell cultivated meat to the public, and now the US just yesterday, do you think that's going to accelerate some of the investment maybe in Latin American countries?
Yeah, I hope so, definitely. And they're going to seek opportunities of investment now that they have a little bit more confidence on the technology. And I think that's a huge opportunity for the region. We have actually, the project I'm working on, and there's another company here in Argentina now, there are two of us. One in Chile and two in Brazil, but that's pretty much it. So there's a lot that it's going to be like being developed during the future years. So I think there's a huge opportunity for investors to come here. Yeah, definitely.
That's fantastic. We hope that happens.
Me too.
So what exactly are you working on, if you can tell us?
So now I'm working with the #1 chicken meat producer in Argentina. They are interested in developing technology of their own. They've been following this trend in like most of us in the world for a few years now, and they say like, we are not sure what the future will look like, but it seems that cultivated meat is going to be part of it, and we want to be a part of it as well. So we are developing scaffolds, and we actually managed to have our first prototype within the first year.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, we're really happy.
Did you get to taste it?
Yeah, and it is really good. Yeah.
What about the safety of that product? We know so far is that because it is grown in a sterile environment and there's no feces from animals or bacteria from a factory farm and things like that, it's supposed to be safer.
Highly controlled and normally used for the food production industry. So, but food is different because everyone gets, in the best case scenario, it's involved with food at least 2 or 3 times a day.
Right.
And it's a very personal relationship. I mean,
Yes.
you need to understand, and newer generations even more.
Yes.
They're questioning, like, where is the food that I'm getting coming from? How was it made, or how was it traded? And so you need to be extra transparent. And in the case of this type of technology, that it's really, really different from every other thing that was presented before.
Yes.
You have an extra effort to make to show that it actually has a lot of benefits, this technology.
Absolutely.
It's now being applied for this new application. That's pretty simple.
Yes. I think the issue that is grown in a lab is not an issue so much anymore for younger generations. At least our organization has reached out or has educated about 3 million people so far. And what we've seen is that the youth is ready.
Yeah.
In fact, they usually ask us, so where can we eat this? If they wanted to get into this field, what do you suggest they do? Or what career do you suggest they follow?
Pretty much everything related to life sciences, biology, but even chemistry or physics. There's a lot of technology that is being developed, not only regarding strictly to like cells and how it grows cells, but we need like new bioreactor design. So it's a highly multidisciplinary field, and there's a lot of different fields that are going to be working together. Universities, I think, especially in the US, are actually having PhDs or programs specific for cultured meat, because the thing is that most of the people working in this field were working on different areas, and now they're like reapplying their knowledge to this field. But now we have new generations of students that are being educated specifically for the needs of the field. I think it's great. Yeah.
If we can grow meat from chicken cells, can we grow meat from any animal cells?
And there's actually something that has been proved over time with how this field has been growing. At the beginning, were a couple of companies only dedicated to red meat. Right now, you can probably find a company on culture meat on any species that you look for. There's also a company in Australia that is saying, like, why not generate cultivated meat from species that are not normally consumed?
That makes a lot of sense. And I think that same application can be used to save some species that we're exploiting for their food and they're endangered, in order to let them recover and avoid eating them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I love that. But what is the reaction from other companies that sell meat? Do you think there's more interest? Is this a precedent for them to get into this cultivated meat field?
Yeah, definitely. For our country, is a precedent. The company that I'm working with is Granja Tres Arroyos. It's the first company, especially a company this size. It's a very large company getting involved. The only precedent I think in the region is a company in Brazil, but they actually make a deal to import technology when it's done abroad. Okay. They're not actually developing their own. So I think, yeah, it definitely sets a precedent.
And do you collaborate with, or at least communicate with other cultivated meat companies around the world?
Being here, that we are kind of alone. The community of the cultivated meat is pretty open, even though like most of them are private companies. People that work there are very eager to share their results, and we sometimes approach them like, we are trying to do something, we saw you present in a conference or something. Everyone is really open to collaborate, and most of the people in this field are behind the idea that this will move forward only with collaborative work.
Absolutely.
And you need to include more people, not shut out the people that are trying to approach you. So we are definitely trying to build as big as a network as we can.
Yeah, I think the world today has proven that when we collaborate, we achieve things much faster and better, right? Yeah. Do you think that in the future, meat, cultivated meat, will be able to be produced without cholesterol or less fat, things like that, to help prevent some of the chronic diseases that are related to the Western diet?
Yeah, definitely. I think this technology will be able to control the percentage of fat, the type of fat that it actually can be included. And normally some like good fatty acids that are inside type of meat, and only the others will be
like omega-3s.
Yeah, omega-3s, and that will be easily tunable to have. If you start by something that is already modified, that from the thing that normally it's being consumed, it will raise more suspicions.
Absolutely.
So you need to make a product that will resemble what people are
very familiar.
Yeah, very familiar, and then improve, and then show that. Because if you start with something like, I will create something that's totally different and really do it using a completely different way, it's too much at once.
That's true. Yeah. Humans need familiarity and the comfort of what is known.
Yeah,
right?
And especially with food, because we have a very close relation. If I say to you, like, come to my house, I will make a barbecue for you. Right. You're already anticipating what that experience will be. Your brain, like, so, oh, I'm going to taste this, and it will resemble you something you already taste.
Right.
And if I say, okay, I will recreate that with a different, complete way, it's one thing. and say, okay, you will eat meat, but it will be completely different for something. It's too much.
It's too much.
I think I'll pass.
Yes.
So I think it's need to take baby steps. Yeah.
Last question would be, what would you like viewers to know, and young people especially, about this amazing field of cultivated meat, and how really what a game changer it is, especially for their generation and generations to come, which they will probably see it as a normal thing, right?
Yeah.
If all goes well.
I think it's one of the things that I think it's really cool about this is that it started not so long ago. It's only been like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it started like, this is completely science fiction. And there
Right.
was really few people actually working on this. But they kept going and kept going and kept going, and more people got interested. And now we are like, have market approval.
Yes.
So it was
crazy.
It's interesting that things move so fast now. If you compare with other technologies that had like to be 20 years in development until they reach public, but this is all moving really, really fast. So
Yes.
If you think that there's a chance, don't let go if you feel like something is impossible and have the whole
Right.
world against you, because if you
Just go for it.
go for it, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time. I learned a lot. Because my family's from here, from Argentina, and I have a deep appreciation for the culture, for the traditions. I'm very thankful that this new science exists. As an animal lover, as a health promoter, and as an environmentalist, I think really can solve many of the most urgent problems
Yes.
that society is facing. And food is, like you said, everything, right? We have to have it to survive. So why not do something that is good for human and planetary health? So fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah.